Mao Mao Heroes of Pure Heart is an action-packed comedic adventure series that follows the brave and charismatic Sheriff Mao Mao, a skilled swordsman on a mission to protect the citizens of Pure Heart Valley. I will tell you the whole story of Mao Mao, one of the best productions of the new generation Cartoon Network. In the first episode of the series, in Pure Heart Valley, where Adorabat watches the clouds with Chubum and Ketchup, scaring them with a monster-shaped cloud. Meanwhile, Mao Mao and Badgerclops sneak onto a sky pirate ship led by Orangasnake, aiming to stop their attack on the cloaked Ruby Pureheart. They disrupt a meeting and take down most of the crew, leaving only a few pirates on board. As they escape, they accidentally hit the Ruby Pureheart, breaking its cloaking abilities and revealing Pureheart Valley. They crash into the town where Mao Mao initially distrusts the Sweetie Pies, but Badgerclops is easily won over. When a dragon enemy appears, Mao Mao and Badgerclops defeat it, impressing Adorabat, who asks Mao Mao to train her as a hero. King Snugglemane appears, revealing that Mao Mao broke the Ruby Pureheart, making him responsible for protecting the town. Orangasnake returns, trying to steal the Ruby Pureheart. Mao Mao and Badgerclops engage in battle, with Adorabat secretly joining. Mao Mao realizes that saving Pureheart Valley would make him a legendary hero. Adorabat drops a bomb, destroying the enemy ship, and they return victorious. King Snugglemane appoints Mao Mao as sheriff and protector of the town. Mao Mao then officially recruits Adorabat, and the episode ends with the trio riding off on the Arrow Cycle. In the next episode, Adorabat worries that if Mao Mao quits adventuring, she'll never learn to be a legendary hero. To keep him inspired, she fabricates a dangerous quest involving supposed apple bombs. Mao Mao, falling for the ruse, drags Badgerclops along. They sneak into Chef Rhett's kitchen, destroy the king's apples, and then descend into a trap-filled underground passage by using a mold of King Snugglemane's foot. Throughout the makeshift adventure, the trio encounters traps, monsters, and near-death experiences. Adorabat steps in peanut butter bait and triggers dangerous spikes, and both she and Mao Mao nearly fall off a cliff. Badgerclops returns to save them, and they battle more creatures together. Believing the final big fat reward awaits behind a grand door, Mao Mao instead finds King Snugglemane casually playing the harpsichord. Realizing the entire quest was pointless, Mao Mao feels disappointed, until Adorabat admits she staged the whole thing to ensure he wouldn't give up his adventurous life. Touched by Adorabat's devotion, Mao Mao reassures her that with loyal friends like her, every adventure can be perfect. They share a warm hug at sunset, renewing their bond as a heroic team. In the other episode, after a tiring day of protecting Pureheart Valley, the trio heads to bed. Badgerclops wants the top bunk and a nightlight, but Mao Mao refuses. The next morning, Badgerclops complains that Mao Mao and Adorabat never consider his preferences. Their argument is interrupted when a giant monster attacks the town. Two magic technicians, Camille and Honey, provide a device that can grow its user into a giant, and Badgerclop uses it to easily defeat the monster. Drunk with power and size, he stays giant, disrupting the town's peace by sleeping on the Ruby Pureheart, switching people's TV channels, and accidentally destroying buildings. Mao Mao and Adorabat team up with Camille to shrink Badgerclops back down by turning themselves into giants too, and using all the things that annoy him: loud conversation, meditation, etc. Overwhelmed, Badgerclops finally returns to normal size. Feeling guilty, Mao Mao and Adorabat try to make it up to him by giving him his favorite TV show and listening to his experiences as a giant. Ultimately, they let Badgerclops have the top bunk, add a nightlight for his drawings, and share a more considerate friendship. Meanwhile, Adorabat's giant molted shell remains perched on a nearby rooftop. In the next episode, Mao Mao, Badgerclops, and Adorabat drive over to fight a jelly monster in the valley. Mao Mao and Badgerclops perform combo moves to take down the monster, which leaves Adorabat feeling excluded. While the two bake their cake, Badgerclops tells Adorabat how he and Mao Mao first met. Badgerclops was part of the Thicket Thieves, formerly a bad guy. Badgerclops gets trapped in a mountain that was on fire, and Mao Mao comes to his rescue, starting the friendship between the two buddies. When Adorabat mentions Badgerclops being the sidekick of the crew, Mao Mao and Badger argue with each other, breaking their long friendship. Adorabat gets what she wished for, getting to hang out with Mao Mao and Badgerclops. Adorabat grows tired of the two constantly bickering with each other and wanting to hang out with her all the time. She runs away from home. She plans to remake the scene from Badgerclops' story so Mao Mao and Badgerclops can save her and get over their stupid differences. She ends up getting into some trouble with the monster, which ignites the monster alarm. Mao Mao and Badgerclops manage to get over their differences when remembering all the memories they had, and with Adorabat, they perform a new combo move to take down the monster. They do their handshake with Adorabat. They plan to put out the fire later after they bake their cake. They realize they left the oven on at their headquarters, which set their house on fire. In the next episode, it begins with Mao Mao Mao, Badgerclops, and Adorabat battling the Impressasaur, a draconian beast attacking Pure Heart Valley. Mao Mao defeats the creature and enjoys the crowd's applause, but notices that one sweetie pie, Old Blue, remains unimpressed. This triggers childhood flashbacks, motivating Mao Mao to earn Blue's praise. The trio spies on Old Blue as he drinks tea. Adorabat impresses him with a hip-hop dance and earns a gold coin, which she spins on ice cream. Mao Mao and Badgerclops attempt their own act, but Badgerclops decides to just buy his own ice cream instead. Mao Mao repeatedly fails to impress Blue and, in desperation, chases him aggressively, scaring him into fleeing in his car. Mao Mao recalls a childhood memory where he sought his father Shin Mao's approval, but was ignored in favor of his sisters. Back in the present, Badgerclops and Adorabat try to comfort Mao Mao, inadvertently inspiring him to disguise himself as Chubbum. The disguise works and Old Blue is finally impressed. However, Mao Mao's excitement causes him to accidentally call Blue Daddy, exposing his deep-seated need for approval. The episode ends with Mao Mao attending a therapy session with Old Blue, finally opening up about his issues. Feeling relieved, he schedules another appointment for the following Thursday. In the other episode, it begins with Adorabat celebrating Takesgiving by collecting items from Mao Mao and Badgerclops. When they visit the town, they encounter two scam artists, Reggie and Rufus. Mao Mao attempts to arrest them, but Adorabat insists they are kind and trustworthy. Determined to prove they're scammers, Mao Mao sets out to expose them. Despite multiple attempts, Adorabat keeps defending the duo, allowing Rufus to avoid capture. When the scammers trick the townsfolk into throwing valuables into a magical wishing fountain, Adorabat participates, believing in Rufus. He gives her a pen as a granted wish, which satisfies her but frustrates Mao Mao. In anger, Mao Mao crushes the pen, leading to an argument where Adorabat wishes he wasn't so mean and flies off. Mao Mao, worried about Adorabat's blind trust, devises a plan with Badgerclops. Meanwhile, Adorabat follows Rufus and Reggie to their lair, excited to befriend them. However, she overhears Rufus admitting he only sees her as a tool against Mao Mao. A knock at the door reveals a tearful Adorabat, only for Rufus to realize the Adorabat in the room was actually Mao Mao in disguise. Badgerclops also reveals himself, having impersonated Reggie. Their trick successfully exposes the scammers. As Mao Mao and Badgerclops prepare to arrest them, Adorabat joins in, attacking the duo with stolen items and sending them rolling into the sewers. She learns that being nice doesn't always mean someone is good, and resolves to be more cautious. Despite her slightly more cynical outlook, she remains cheerful and flies off happily. In the other episode, Mao Mao tells Adorabat about his past battle with the cyber lizards, but Badgerclops interrupts, accusing him of exaggerating his stories. Before Adorabat can determine the truth, the trio receives an urgent message from King Snugglemane. At the palace, they find a pile of bones and fear the king has been killed, but he emerges from hiding and reveals an intruder broke in. Mao Mao deciphers the bones as a message: beware the monster Bao Bao. He then tells the story of Bao Bao, his former best friend and adventure partner. As teenagers, they discovered the amulet of Borflagon, but while escaping from a monster, Bao Bao abandoned Mao Mao, leaving him trapped under a boulder that crushed his tail. Badgerclops doubts the story until Mao Mao shows his missing tail as proof. Mao Mao prepares the town for Bao Bao's arrival, training the Sweetie Pies in combat. However, when Bao Bao finally appears, he is revealed to be a goofy dog, not a monster. The Sweetie Pies leave, but Mao Mao, still bitter, ties Bao Bao to a lamppost. Suddenly, a real monster attacks, capturing Badgerclops and Adorabat, leaving Mao Mao and Bao Bao to fight together. Mao Mao realizes Bao Bao is trying to warn him, and they team up to defeat the creature. Afterwards, Bao Bao returns the enchanted amulet, showing that his most precious memory was their time together. Mao Mao forgives him, excited for more adventures, but Bao Bao gets distracted by a butterfly and runs off again, frustrating Mao Mao, who angrily tosses the amulet away. Adorabat reflects and realizes Bao Bao likely never intended to betray Mao Mao, he was just distracted by another butterfly. She understands this deeply hurt Mao Mao, leading the trio to cry together. In the next episode, Mao Mao gets a call from his mother, who informs him that his father Shin Mao is coming for a visit. The towering cat soon arrives, but proves to be an overbearing figure who mocks those smaller than himself. After insulting Mao Mao by getting his name wrong, his sword Geraldine, and his friends, Shin asks for a tour of Pure Heart Valley. However, from the diminutive Sweetie Pies to the cracked Ruby Pure Heart, Shin Mao finds the whole experience unimpressive. Desperate to gain his father's approval, Mao Mao leads an attack on the Sky Pirates, only for Shin to be distracted by a phone call from his daughter Minori. After extolling her virtues, Shin proves just as disappointed by Mao Mao's foes as anything else. A visit to the site of a previous battle fails to earn his approval as well. However, the group are then attacked by a shadow dragon, which Shin quickly goes to confront. As Shin continues to show a lack of appreciation for his son, Mao Mao finally explodes with temper and accuses his father of caring more about his own pride than his son's feelings. eggs. When a distracted Shin starts to protest, the shadow dragon lands him a crushing blow and reveals a shocking truth. Shin's immense stature is due to his wearing a large mech suit, and in reality he's no bigger than Mao Mao. Mao Mao quickly goes to his father's rescue and then faces the dragon by himself. As Shin looks on in awe, his son vanquishes the dragon single-pawed. Mao Mao then turns his attention to Shin, who fears his son's retribution, only for Mao Mao to place Shin back in his mech suit. Acting as though his father's humiliation hasn't happened, Mao Mao comments that his father must be disappointed. However, Shin interrupts and for the first time demonstrates pride in his son and admiration for him. Mao Mao's father then takes his leave while Mao Mao looks on with Badgerclops and Adorabat. In the next episode, Tanya Keys, Mao Mao's former partner and a mischievous bounty hunter, arrives in Pure Heart Kingdom and immediately teases Mao Mao, calling him Mittens and tempting him to break the law by eating illegal Hydra eggs. While Mao Mao initially refuses, her carefree, rule-bending attitude briefly intrigues him, and he follows along. However, Tanya's real goal is soon revealed. She has captured Badgerclops, intending to claim a bounty on him. Tanya challenges Mao Mao to chase her if he wants to free his friend. Employing shape-shifting illusions, she evades Mao Mao at every turn, even disguising herself as a statue of King Snugglemane. As Mao Mao juggles his duty to the kingdom and his loyalty to his friend, Tanya uses his strict adherence to rules against him. When King Snugglemane calls Mao Mao back for a trivial matter, Mao Mao reluctantly leaves the chase, putting his responsibility first. Adorabat, upset at Tanya's trickery, still hopes Mao Mao and Tanya can reconcile. Realizing Tanya may have a point about silly laws, and that Badgerclops is clueless about his impending imprisonment, Mao Mao decides to break the rules to rescue him. Ignoring the law, and using an illegal speed booster on his aerocycle, Mao Mao finally catches up to Tanya's airborne truck. Tanya tries to stop him, but when Mao Mao confesses he'd rather break the law than abandon a friend, she relents. Impressed by his change of heart, she releases Badgerclops and tears up the bounty poster. Mao Mao apologizes for his past stubbornness, and the tension softens. As they all share a brief moment of camaraderie, interrupted by Adorabat crashing the aerocycle, Tanya declines an invitation to stay. With her typical prankster style, she vanishes in a swirl of leaves, calling them dum-dums as she departs. In the other episode, Orangasnake, the combined form of an orangutan named Tanner and a cobra named Kobe, attacks Pure Heart Valley with the Sky Pirates using a giant laser tube. Mao Mao taunts them, causing the Ruby Pure Heart to absorb the laser energy without showing any immediate effect. After another defeat, Orangasnake recalls his origins. Kobe and Tanner began as two separate thieves, but merged when their combined powers scared a target into submission. Eager to grow stronger and finally defeat Mao Mao, Orangasnake fuses with more of the Sky Pirates, including Ramaraf, Boss Hostrich, and Ratarang, into bizarre forms. Although these fusions briefly overwhelm Mao Mao, he still wins each encounter. Frustrated, Orangasnake wishes for enough power to destroy Mao Mao, offering up his and Tanner's soul if necessary. The Ruby Pure Heart, now charged with the laser's energy, grants that wish, merging all the Sky Pirates and their ship into a massive mechanical titan, Mega Orangasnake. They launch an assault on the sheriff's department. Realizing he pushed Orangasnake too far, Mao Mao pretends to be afraid, distracting the fused pirates. While Orangasnake is busy gloating, Badgerclops and Adorabat dismantle the mech suit, sending the Sky Pirates flying yet again. Although the threat is neutralized, the Ruby Pure Heart glows ominously, hinting at more trouble to come. Meanwhile, the group returns to their daily routine, complete with delivered pizza, oblivious to the gem's growing power. In the next episode, a monster with bull horns attacks Farmer Bun's farm. Mao Mao fends it off by following instructions from the Hero's Code, a sacred book passed down through his family. When Farmer Bun offers cobbler as a reward, Mao Mao refuses because the code forbids it, despite secretly craving it. Later that night, Mao Mao can't resist and devours the cobbler, overwhelmed with guilt and haunted by visions of his ancestors' disapproval. In the morning, Mao Mao lies about eating the cobbler and destroys Badgerclop's security footage to conceal his guilt. He rushes back to Farmer Bun's farm, unable to stop himself from binge-eating more cobbler. Badgerclops and Adorabat arrive just in time, but soon the same bullhorn monster, also afflicted with cobbler fever, returns. While fighting, the monster swallows Mao Mao. Trapped inside and surrounded by cobbler, Mao Mao finally rejects his family's strict code and embraces his true self. By consuming the cobbler, he transforms into a golden, empowered form. He then easily defeats the monster, realizes that being a hero means staying true to oneself, and proudly admits he loves cobbler. Although he won't be able to unleash this powerful golden truth form again, because it came from years of pent-up desire, Mao Mao has freed himself from his old code's restraints. He ends the episode by asking Farmer Bun for more cobbler, leaving the disgruntled farmer to declare he hates Mao Mao for ruining his livelihood. In the next episode, on a rainy day, Adorabat tells Badgerclops she's having trouble making friends at school. Badgerclops ask Mao Mao for advice, prompting Mao Mao to share a childhood story. As a young kitten, Mao Mao was left in a peaceful town by by his father, Shin Mao, who took away Mao Mao's real sword to avoid scaring the locals. Stranded and lonely, Mao Mao struggles to make friends. He accidentally causes chaos while trying to help townspeople with their various tasks, and he's even bullied by other kids. Feeling dejected, Mao Mao encounters a stray dog named Bao Bao, who steals his sandwich but soon becomes his first true friend. Determined to win the townspeople's approval, Mao Mao hatches a plan to defeat the Flimborg, believing it to be a fearsome monster. With Bao Bao's help, he launches the creature into the sky, only to discover it was actually a gentle visitor the townspeople adored. An angry mob chases Mao Mao and Bao Bao, and even Mao Mao's Aunt Gloria joins them. Mao Mao and Bao Bao are eventually punished, but they remain close friends. Back in the present, Mao Mao assures Adorabat that genuine friends will appear for her in time, just as Bao Bao did for him. Overjoyed, Adorabat declares herself Mao Mao's best friend, sparking a playful tug-of-war with Badgerclops over who holds that title. In the series finale, the episode starts with the heroes fighting the Sky Pirates until an iguana monster appears. Badgerclops, Adorabat, Ramaraf, Boss Hostrich, and Ratarang call timesies upon realizing the emerging threat, but Orangasnake and Mao Mao warn their respective teammates that there's no timesies in battling. Soon, the two leaders continue to battle with each other until the iguana monster stomps on them severely. Later, Mao Mao wakes up and he figures out that he's ended up in a hospital, while Orangasnake wakes up and rips his shirt. Dr. Cuddlestein tells them that their bones are broken. After she pulls Lucky out of Orangasnake's stomach, she warns them not to fight. However, the sworn enemies don't care about and hate her rules and continue feuding, and she bangs them with a crutch, which only fractures their already weakened bones and skeletons. Meanwhile, Adorabat and Badgerclops walked to see Mao Mao and came across the other Sky Pirates who were planning to visit their boss. Mao Mao and Orangasnake, who are still determined to deal with each other, try not to let know Dr. Cuddlestein about their rivalry. Later, the hero duo and the rest of the Sky Pirates take the elevator to the next floor. In the room, the cat and the orangutan Cobra fusion are still fighting. When the duo and the other Sky Pirates got to the room, they're petrified to see Mao Mao inside Orangasnake. Badgerclops stops them and Dr. Cuddlestein slaps Orangasnake and catches Mao Mao with his robotic arm. After Dr. Cuddlestein comes back from comforting a crying Kevin who hurt his arm, she's mad and unhappy at them for breaking the rules as she storms off in a rage. Though Mao Mao and Orangasnake still refuse to listen to her, Badgerclops and Adorabat are equally disappointed for Mao Mao's bad behavior in the hospital as well, while the other Sky Pirates give Orangasnake his sword. Mao Mao's frustration incrementally grows. Eventually, Adorabat tells Mao Mao and Orangasnake to be good boys, but they can't take this anymore and fight while rolling away, after passing by a few sweetie pies, while Dr. Cuddlestein proudly brings a baby, mistakenly by Ratarang. While Mao Mao and Orangasnake both proceed fighting, they eventually end up in a cement hole. They both sink in the cement, and as Tanner can't breathe, both try calling Slim Piggins, but he's too distracted by his headphones. Mao Mao apologizes upon understanding that if they keep fighting more, only more pain will be inflicted on both of them. So, Mao Mao breaks out of his cast while being naked and floppy, tries to push the button, and so causes the cement mixer to stop. Mao Mao later wants to go back to the hospital since he's in a lot of pain, but Badgerclops tells him he's not allowed back there. So he tapes Mao Mao and says his bones are gonna heal all wrong, ending the episode. So much for Mao Mao's story. If you like my narration, you can subscribe to my channel. See you in the next videos. Bye!